A couple months ago, we posted our video on how to fix Spider-Man 3 in 5 steps. If you would like to see it, you can find a link in the description below. Now, we're going to see what Spider-Man 3 could have been if they had applied those 5 steps while making it. The movie would start with Peter and MJ living a perfect life together. Everything is going well for Peter, in both his personal life, with his work, and his wedding coming up, and in his life as Spider-Man. At this point in the movie, you get to see a display of all of Peter's good qualities, including his kindness and his generosity. You see just a trace of ego coming through when he's wearing the Spider-Man mask, but it's nothing major. Then there's a fire at the Oscorp laboratory, and Spider-Man has to go and help the workers escape the building. One of the ones there is Harry. They exchange a terse glance, but Harry doesn't outwardly display his hate for Spider-Man. After Spider-Man helps him out of the building, though, you realize that he was in there working on adapting the Green Goblin serum for his own physiology. Spider-Man goes back to make sure that no one is left in the laboratory. Unbeknownst to him, there's a container nearby that's been broken. The symbiote, which was recovered in an Oscorp space mission, escapes and latches onto Spider-Man's suit. You see an animation of the symbiote binding with the fibers of the outfit. Later, you see Harry going through a training montage, trying to get himself in the best physical shape possible. But he realizes that he's still no match for Spider-Man. When he's finally cleared to go back into the laboratory, the first thing he does is inject himself with the serum. He is, of course, unaware of the possible side effects, such as the ones his father suffered from: madness, aggression, and insanity. At this point, he still believes that his father was a good man, and is unaware of the terrible things he did. Peter goes home after the Oscorp incident. MJ is getting ready for a big date they have that night, but she can see that he's upset. She tries to ask him what's wrong. He mentions how he saw Harry at Oscorp, and how he's so annoyed with what's happened to their friendship. He says something that's just on the edge of being mean-spirited, but not to the point where MJ really has to worry. She goes to the bathroom to continue getting ready, and while she's out of the room, Peter's Spider-Man suit transforms to a tuxedo. She comes back out and is amazed by his outfit. He's visibly confused, but tries to play it off, as if going to rent a tuxedo was part of his plan. While they're on their date, Peter senses a crime occurring nearby. He goes to stop it. MJ sees him in his tux 1 second, and then the next, he's in a black spider suit with white accents. She wonders how he got changed so quickly, and where the new suit came from. He goes and stops the bad guys easily, but punches one of them in the face after he's already tied him up. When MJ asks why he did it, he says that he thought the man was about to pull out a weapon or something. From that point on, every time he goes to stop crime, he becomes more and more aggressive about it. The suit becomes less like the spider suit and more like a goo symbiote every time we see him in it, and the more the suit looks like the traditional Venom, the more we see it influencing Peter. On one occasion, we see Harry watching Spider-Man from the shadows on a stealth glider. Everything he sees is confirming his mistaken belief that Spider-Man is evil and killed his father. MJ expresses concern when she sees a news report that 3 people were hospitalized for serious injuries after a run-in with Spider-Man. Then she sees that the Daily Bugle is calling for his arrest. Peter is annoyed when she shows it to him. He gets up and slams his fist through the wall, destroying a picture of them that was in his way. He suddenly becomes aware of what he just did, and apologizes, saying that he didn't mean to act that way. He runs out with no explanation and goes to confront J. Jonah Jameson about the article. When he gets to the Daily Bugle, Eddie runs up and tells him how big of a fan he is of Peter's work, and that his pictures, along with his own journalism, will make for some terrific articles. Peter just shoves him to the side and goes straight to J. Jonah Jameson's office. They get into a big argument, and Peter quits, storming out. Eddie comes back up with a laptop in his hand and apologizes for the way he came off earlier. He then shows him what his plans for the next Spider-Man article are. Peter stops and says, "The next Spider-Man article? You mean, you wrote the article from this morning's paper?" Eddie shakes his head, and immediately, Peter takes the laptop from his hand and smashes it to pieces against the wall. He says, "I'm done with this crap hole," and walks out. He goes home and starts packing furiously. He grabs one of his things, and all of a sudden, it's absorbed into his suit and disappears. He grabs his camera, and it's swallowed up by his suit as well. This is a reference to the abilities of the suit in the comics. The real-world explanation can be that the suit disassembles and reassembles things at a molecular level, and so it's able to recreate them in the same way that it creates outfits for him. MJ shows up and starts asking him what's wrong and what's going on. Peter gets mad and starts yelling at her, but she continues to question him. Finally, he goes to slap her, but as he does, the symbiote comes out on his arm and forms claws. He leaves 5 gashes across her cheek. He walks off, clearly shaken up by what just happened, but not entirely remorseful. As he walks down the street, you see the coldness solidifying across his face. He goes back to his ever more violent crime-fighting ways. Harry comes to fight him. Spider-Man utterly defeats him. After Harry is down, Spider-Man takes a pumpkin bomb and throws it at him. Then he turns around and walks away, and as he does, his mask transforms to show teeth, and he snarls loudly. Over the next few months, he becomes more violent. He's hurting people more and more often, and more criminals are being admitted to the hospital. The police have orders to capture him if at all possible, but they haven't been able to. MJ has scars left across her face. She goes to talk to Harry, who is similarly scarred, to a much greater extent. Harry either wants nothing to do with Peter, or he's planning to kill him for the sake of the city. MJ tries to convince him that Peter is not being himself. Finally, he agrees to try to help her. Harry wears a special mask that hides the injuries to his face, because he is self-conscious about them. He fights and fights Peter, but he can't get the upper hand. Finally, he leads Spider-Man into a trap, activating a sonic cannon as he flies past it. He turns it on a moment too soon, though, and he goes crashing down on his glider. Peter is separated from the suit just long enough to realize the need to break free from it. He stands in front of the sonic cannon, peeling the suit off piece by piece. Then he races down to check on Harry. As he does, the suit comes after him. Harry throws a pumpkin bomb at it, obliterating it. What he doesn't know is that Eddie Brock was down below watching and photographing events the entire time, and a small piece fell on him. It isn't enough to transform him into Venom yet, but eventually it will grow and take him over. Peter goes and consoles Harry as he dies, and apologizes to both him and MJ, and Harry replies by saying he knows that Peter is a good person, and he can't believe he ever doubted him. Then he dies. Thank you for watching. If you have a movie you would like to see fixed, please leave it in the comments below. If you would like to see more, please subscribe to my channel, or visit qjmartin.org.